Hello, and welcome to the Power of Woo. Let's see now. Let me take a look to see what this week's topic is.
Boss, we got a problem. You've kind of got to talk a little bit more about, well, not just channeling, but a little bit more about chakras.
What?
There's a little problem here. I was just reviewing, Blue Boy's video, and, yeah, you gotta see this. You've just got to see this.
Recharging your third eye chakra, you begin to activate the pineal gland, and your psychic connection can begin.
Just put up a clip. Let him counter himself.
Third eye, which is psychic and intuitive and connects to the pituitary gland. Finally is the crown chakra, which is the spiritual chakra and connects to the pineal gland.
Okay. Now that we've got that squared away, that he can't keep his fucking chakra positions and what body parts is supposed to be associated with straight. What do I need to address with channeling?
Let's talk about animal communication, because this is a form of channeling that you yourself can do.
What? Oh, for fuck's sake. Really?
Channeling pets is one of the easiest forms of this art. Pets, of course, do not use human language, but they have a strong desire to communicate with humans. Start by taking your dog into a quiet room. Sit on the floor next to him, or if he's allowed on the couch or bed, have him sit next to you. Pet him in his favorite spot until he's settled in. Then start talking quietly to him in a loving tone. Find one short sentence or word and use it over and over. You could say, "Hey there, sweetie," or okay, buddy. Let's just call this your key phrase.
That would be training, not channeling.
When you've gone over your key phrase 10 times or so, close your eyes and be silent. Stop petting him and begin to form a picture in your mind of what you want him to know.
At this point, the animal is going to be thinking to itself, hey, why aren't you petting me? And it's going to do something to try to get your attention, so you'll pet it again.
You may have to practice visualizations if you haven't ever done this before. After the picture is formed and clear, float the image out of your forehead where your third eye is located and into your dog's head directly between the eyes.
Now, if this actually worked the way they're claiming, and this image was transferred from your head into the animal's head, that would be a form of telepathy. You're using images instead of words. Not channeling.
Once you've done this, speak the key phrase again one more time and float the image again into his head. Keep doing this until he either leaves to get up or puts his head on your lap.
Still not channeling. And you're saying keep doing this until either it walks away or until it does something like putting its head on your lap saying, please just pet me? Because it's now associating that word with being petted. Oh, you fucking idiot.
If he leaves, follow him and do it again. If you begin to get a reaction from him, like putting his head in your lap or something else, congratulations, you've just communicated with your dog.
Yes, you've communicated with it. You've taught it to associate a word or phrase with being loved on. Ah, isn't that nice? Not channeling, not telepathy. Training, retard.
One big question that everyone has around now, well, do they talk back? Yeah, they do. I communicate with my cat Toonie, and he always tells me what he wants, whether it's food, water, or to go outside.
Now, normally I'd make a dig about not being at all surprised that you're a cat person, but you named it Toonie?
I know what you're probably thinking. Well, don't I have to be psychic to do this?
Just as in the case of the whole third eye versus seventh chakra. Spirit science has it wrong as usual. Seems to be a recurring theme, doesn't it? But in this case, I'm going to take this a little bit personally. I call this a little intermission from the regular show if you'd like. But I got to get a little serious here. Around about 14 years ago, got my first dog. We named him Butchie as part of a matching pair, Butch and Sundance. The Sundance didn't work out so well. He was a sweet little pup, a little willful at times. He was half Akita, half fence jumper. And for those of you that don't get the joke there, the mother was a purebred and a daddy dog jumped the fence. So, got him with a pound. Sweet pup. Had him for about 13 years. Really good dog. It was kind of weird at first. A lot of training. But more so than the training, there was a lot of time just getting to know him. Happy puppy. Wouldn't think a dog his size would have been so comfortable indoors, but he was. lounged around, did his own thing, played a little bit. He's a good dog, though. Very intuitive. And after a while, we got into this groove. We knew how to communicate with one another. By the time my current wife met him, I don't know, he's probably about 7-ish. Roundabout. 6.5, 7. And by that time, we had a pretty good system. We could communicate pretty well. And it was very rare that I would surprise him or that he would surprise me. He did when he met my current wife for the first time. I had just gone out to take him for a walk, and he intuitively could tell the connection between her and I. Ran right up to the truck and jumped up, which was weird because he was usually standoffish with new people. He liked her right out of the gate. And could tell how important she was to me by my mannerisms, in ways that I didn't even realize yet at the time. He's a good dog. So, after she'd known him for about a good 6 years or so, she had stopped calling me nuts for talking to him in full sentences and had found that she was doing the same. She'd also picked up all those strange little mannerisms, a little twitch of the ears, little wrinkle of the nose, little shift of the weight here and there, that were his tells, so he could tell exactly what he needed or wanted at any given time. This is partially intuitive and partially just paying attention, learning the body language, learning how to communicate. Not some channeling mumbo-jumbo, not imagining something going out of your head into its head right between its brow or any of these kind of things. Just paying attention. Just being there, just caring. By the time he passed, she could do it as well as I could. Nah, nothing psychic about it. No magic about it. Just being willing to spend the time, pay attention to those that you care about. We lost him last year. He's in a place of honor in the hallway now. Miss you, Butchie.
Well, yes, but everyone is psychic, but most people don't really realize it.
This whole everyone is psychic thing has always annoyed me. I've always thought it is something that was inborn, that either you have this weird instinct or not. Some people are more intuitive, some people have more empathy. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I tell you how not to explain it, though. By the way, years ago when I was doing the whole shamanic path thing, I spent some time channeling. I get this shit. What gets me is, apparently, he doesn't. Let me illustrate.
So now we understand how to channel beings of lower consciousness, animals.
I would incidentally think that my dog is a higher level of consciousness than him, but... well, the one that passed, that is, but let's just leave that as it is. That's just an ad hominem attack.
For beings of higher consciousness, it's essentially the same thing, only reversed. In this scenario, we are like the animal, and we are communicating with beings who know and understand far more than we do.
Well, that's actually highly questionable. Especially with some of the crap you've come up with this quote-unquote history horseshit that's 2 topics away, unfortunately, and I'm really wishing it was something I could skip entirely. The beings that you contact, if it's right to call them beings, aren't of higher consciousness, aren't of lower consciousness, and there is plenty of shit we know that they don't. Matter of fact, I've met a couple that you have to make sure that you don't have any technology nearby because they're fucking obsessed with it, because it's new and it's different and it's neat.
Messages are communicated on levels of emotion and thought rather than spoken word. The channeler will then decipher what the spirit tells him into human language.
Not actually correct, by the way. Now, it's communicated in many different ways while channeling. It is a non-linguistic thing. It's as if you are in the back of your mind. Well, it, whatever it may be, is in the forefront of your mind. And it's doing the talking and this and that. And the way that it feels is more like it's rummaging through the language center of your brain in order to try and communicate.
The majority of this message is conveyed through an elegant series of sensory feelings.
No.
Contrary to popular belief, entities do not generally use human languages because it is considered awkward and clumsy.
No, they don't use human language because they don't fucking know them. So what they have to do is go rummaging through your brain, figure out what the words are, and then pull them out and use them. Because they don't know English, you fucking reject. Why would they, even if they did exist? Next.
For those who are trying to channel entities on your own, I ask that you use caution when proceeding forward, but also have fun. There is a possibility that you encounter a negative entity who may try and trick you or steer you off course.
Now don't worry, there's no possession or anything harmful taking place here. The body is still under the complete control of the channeler.
Other times, the connection between the beings is stronger, and they'll walk around the room and talk and be quite lively.
Oh, I'm sorry, the three of those weren't necessarily in the right sequence, but, you know, considering that there's no possession or whatnot, according to him, and you have complete control of your body, yet the entities, when they take control, are quite lively walking around the room, doesn't that mean that... Yeah. Well, anyway, that's what he's saying, but regardless of this, in terms of the experiential side of channeling, which is really what I'm speaking to here, yeah, it has a degree of control. You can kind of manipulate how much control it has unless it's too strong for you, in which case you can lose control, but that's a different matter entirely. There is a certain amount of willpower involved there. But he kind of touches on it. Of course, my favorite of those three was this one.
For those who are trying to channel entities on your own, I ask that you use caution when proceeding forward, but also have fun. There is a possibility that you encounter a negative entity who may try and trick you or steer you off course.
And then compare it with this.
A man named Drunvalo Melchizedek was visited by a being named Thoth, roughly 30 years ago, and worked with him personally for many years. We're going to be learning a lot about Thoth, who was the priest king of Atlantis for a very long time. For the most part, even the bad entities will act as good ones, because humans generally fall for it.
I like that remix personally. But yeah, if it's something he wants to believe enough, he doesn't give a fuck. Even if it's stupid ancient aliens from higher vibrations from Atlantis. Yeah, because that makes fucking sense. Control room, I've kind of thrown myself off here. We're running a little bit long. I think we'll just keep going with it, because didn't we have a regular fucking show to do today instead of just dealing with Blue Boy here?
Well, actually you're supposed to be doing the Cult Night intro video. For tomorrow?
You give me one good reason not to kill you right now. All that for nothing?
What? It wasn't for nothing. I learned a lot. I'm gonna go channel the dogs.
I have no fucking idea. I don't have anything planned. I don't know. I'll figure out something.